Hello YouTube, this is Bub's Comics coming at you. I've got a CGC haul for y'all today. It's going to be maybe a quick one. We've got 5 books to go through, 5 comics to show off. We just picked up back from CGC. After months of deliberation, they just couldn't decide how good a grade to give these. So they finally settled on, well, let's just send it back to them. So we'll see how it goes. The point of, I know that I've been moving some of my work to CBCS lately, but the point of this was to keep my Planet Comics run at CGC because I know it's a vanity issue, but I'm working on a Registry run trying to get someday into the top 20, and my goal with this one was to break into the top 30, so to have something, you know, numbered 29 or below. So that was my goal, and actually my target shoot was 27, was a rank of 27, and a little over 300 points. So let's see how I did. So let's make me small and get to the haul. Yo! This thing's a little wonky this morning. There we go. That'll work, won't it? Alright, so first up, we have Planet Comics number 16. I estimated the grade on this to be a 0.5. But to be fair, I estimated the grade on all of these to be a 0.5. And it showed up a 0.5. Hey, look at that. So real basic on these. I know that almost all of them except for one book had some major issues. So I expected 0.5s. This one is complete. It says spine on cover completely split and cover reattached with tape. So that's old Bub's handiwork there. And it is from 1942 and slightly brittle pages. I don't think I turned in any that were full-on brittle this time, but I did expect all of them to get slightly brittle pages. So there you go. Planet Comics number 16. I got a 0.5. I'm happy with that. I'm not grade hunting necessarily, although the higher grade you get, the higher you go up on the registry. So it would be nice. The higher grades I get, I'm going to be very happy with, but it's not a requirement. I just wanted them to be slad, presented well, a little bit of preservation there, and just kind of enjoy them like this. So because you can't, they're all so beat up and brittle, you can't really read them anyway. So I might as well, I mean, you can, but every time I thumb through these books, you know, they get more and more damaged and pretty messed up. So you might as well just preserve them and enjoy them. Kind of like trading cards. That's how I look at slabs. Next, we got number 21. This is a 1.5. Again, I expected all these to be 0.5s. Now, this one had the most stuff going crazy with it. It's got color touching the cover, has a whole panel inside that's been removed and it's been cut out and had been hand-drawn and put back in. It's crazy. So this one says, restoration includes color touch, pieces added, which is the part I just told you about, glue. I don't know why anybody puts glue on a book, tear seals, and all 3 edges trimmed. Now, it's tape on cover and interior. They put in brackets. That might have been me. Actually, there was already tape on the cover when I got it. So this book, I didn't do much besides press it because it was already a way lost cause. A 1.5. Moderate to extensive is what mod/ext, I believe, means moderate to extensive restoration. And C4 means not real good restoration either. So anyway, that's what this book was. Purple label. I'm okay with the purple label. It doesn't actually, I kind of think they look nice. I like the purple labels. I like the green labels too. They don't bother me. But for this book, I knew it was going to be bad. What's funny is that as far as registry points goes, this one gave me like 6 points. Super low. Everything else is a base of like 30 points. This gave me like 6 points. So this is this book, you know, if I was really trying for registry hunting, I wouldn't have included it because I knew it had so many problems. But I wasn't quite sure how low they would go on it. So 1.5, it still looks great. I'm not complaining. I love it. You know, but you would think between these 2 books, this even being a 1.5 and that book being, you know, half the cover is missing, it seems, that this would get more points in registry, but it didn't. So there you go. This next book, I was very pleased with how presentable it came out. Again, expected a 0.5, got a 0.5, and this is my Planet Comics 41. Now this book looks amazing. It's one of the best looking 0.5s you'll see. Of course, there's a little bit of piece missing there from the staple, where the staple got pulled out. But it came back with, oh, the other one was light tan to off-white pages. So I was shocked at the page quality of that. This next one is off-white pages. Again, I thought all these were going to be slightly brittle. So, I mean, if these were modern books, you'd be like, what the heck happened to this book? 2 center wraps missing, effects story, cover detached, tape on cover and interior incomplete. So what's killing this book is obviously the 2 center wraps missing, but this book is really expensive, and if you don't get one that has something going on with it, then you're probably not getting a real copy of this book. I mean, you're spending a lot is my point, because at 0.5, even at a 0.5, this book commands pretty decent money, and it's one of the harder to find in the run. I've passed up a couple of times on some really low grade copies that were twice as much as I spent on this book. So very pleased with this book. And if of all the things that I'll take, because I'm not a big grade snob, so I'll take a 0.5 and 2 center wraps missing if I can get a presenting cover with such great color on it as this. I mean, it is just fantastic color. Very nice. I love it. They did a good job slabbing it. All of them, really. You know, no scuffs, no scratches, no ifs, ands, buts, or coconuts, or whatever they say. So, very pleased with that. All right, next we have Planet Comics number 49. Spine on cover, completely split and reattached with tape. So, wasn't much going on with this book, except that it was a little bit rough and the cover was detached and split. So, I mean, that counts, but as you can see, it presents well. 1.5 cream to off-white pages. So, I'm happy with it. You know, I have to say I'm not upset about this at all. I think of all the books that I sent in, I kind of wish I hadn't sent this one in as much, because as much as I originally loved the cover when I first got it, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to slab that. Since then, I've got so many other books that I like better. So it's funny, because when you're going for a complete run, you're so excited to get a book, and then you get another book, you're like, I like this even better. You get it in hand, and it's so pretty, or the color's better on it. So anyway, 1.5 on this. I'm not complaining. Probably wish I had sent a different book in, but got some decent registry points off it. And it is a very cool book. And my feeling with these, I was stressing, which one should I send? Which one should I send? But in the end, they're all going anyway. So it's just a matter of which ones do I send now. They're all going to go, and they're all going to get back, and we're going to get grades on all of them. So let's not worry about it too bad. Which ones we send, which ones we don't. This next one, I was very pleased with this. This was the book that I was shooting for 2.0 on, because I felt like it was the best presenting book. Now, I did have to do some tear seals, some cover tear seals in the interior of the cover, so I knew that was going to hurt the grade slightly, but overall, I just think that this book deserved a 2, and it got a 2. So, yes, that's a win. That's a win, folks. Planet Comics number 56. All it says is tape on interior cover. That's it. The least amount of notes of any of them. And someone might say, well, that looks really faded. In the grader's notes, they did actually remark that there was some moderate fading going on with this cover, which I didn't think was fair, because this cover doesn't have a lot of color. So like that guy's a little bit more orangey red in real life, you know, normal. His outfit's a little green and orange, and so I mean there's a little bit of color loss here, but for the most part this cover was pretty blank and only had dark colors, and then has those everywhere where you see like golden yellow should be more orange. So, you know, but there's not a whole lot going on with this cover as far as color goes. So I felt like that was a little harsh, but very nice. Presents really well. Planet Comics 2.0 off-white pages. Crazy, man. I can't believe the page quality I was getting on these. I thought for sure that they were all going to be much poorer than that. So very happy to get this. Okay, so that's all the books from the haul. So let's see how I did. I got, I was shooting for a rank of 27, and I hit it. I hit my rank of 27, so I was very happy about that. I didn't get as many points as I wanted to get towards that. I wanted a little over 300. I ended up with like 280. So I didn't get as many points, but I did get the rank I was looking for. So now I'm in the top 30. You know, I'm in the 20s, whatever you want, however you want to look at it. So at 27, I'm satisfied right now, but there's people picking up books every day, and the registry moves. So hopefully, and I have a pretty good lead over number 28. Like, he probably had to turn in at least 2 books if they were lower grade to catch me. So that's good. And I'm pretty close to the one ahead of me. So I'm closer to 26 than I am to 28. So with any luck, by the end of the year, I mean, shoot, if I sent books in today, I may not get them back by the end of the year. So let's see. So let's talk about CGC for just a minute. This is not a big rant. I'm not knocking them that hard. My only thing is that they have this turnaround time, and they've sending emails and posting things on their website about how the turnaround time should be, you know, this or that, or understand that they're hiring this. And, you know, if you follow them on Instagram or anything like, or Facebook, you'll see a bunch of people going like, this is ridiculous, I don't want to hear from you. And then you hear other people saying, oh, everyone, you know, does this or that, and we're so glad that you're doing everything you can. And look, here's the deal. I want honesty. Give me honesty, okay? I know that that's expensive for a company to do sometimes, but that's what I prefer. And if you tell me the turnaround time is, say, 40 days, which these were all more than that, but let's just say turnaround time is 40 days. Okay. Actually, when I submitted these, I fast-tracked them, and when I submitted these books, they were supposed to have come back in 19 days. So less than a month, and they came back, of course, in 3 months instead. So, you know, it's like, okay, well, there's one point. But my biggest thing is that when they're receiving these books, I mailed them out, well, I guess it wasn't 3, it was a little over 2 months. So I mailed them out on the 31st of January. And again, I paid for fast track, so you'd think, you know, well, they should be coming back pretty quick. I sent them out the 31st of January. They came back, or actually, the post office showed that CGC received them, technically, right? That they were picked up from the post office on the 5th of February. So at that point, I'm waiting just, okay, you get it in, maybe a day to process it, 2 days. 2 weeks go by, and they still don't show them as received. Now, in the past, I've waited up to a week, and I thought, well, all right, so I'll give them the first week, so I didn't call. Second week, I finally called after 2 full weeks on the day that they should have, you know, 2 weeks from the day that post office says they received them. I give them a call and I say, look, where are my books? I say, okay, we're going to get them. So they looked through, they said, yes, we show that we received your books. I said, great. So you'll update the website. I don't have to worry anymore. And I know that my books are there. They said, no, we're not ready to process them yet. I said, yeah, but it's received, not processed. If you want to add another tier to the process, another step in the process, and call that processed, I'm good with that. So when you get the books, you should immediately catalog them in and say, okay, we received books from you, we received something from you, and we will mark it as received, and then after we process them, we'll mark it as processed. But instead, they're hiding the books, in my opinion, keeping them out of the system so that it doesn't count towards their turnaround time. So, because I asked her at the customer service, she said, so when you do, she was like, we're not going to mark them in. It'll probably be another week before we mark them as received. I said, that's 3 weeks. That's almost the entire time of the turnaround time. That's more than the turnaround time was supposed to be in just sitting there in a room, not even marked as received. She said, and I said, so let me ask you this. So when do you start the turnaround clock? She said, we start it after it's marked received. That's a bunch of crap. If you've got something in your possession, you've received it, technically, in every way, then you're fudging the system, you're, you know, cooking the books, so it looks like you didn't receive them, and then you wait, you know, 3 weeks to then, you know, say that you received them, and you pad your turnaround time, you said that's not part of it. Oh, that doesn't matter. So that's my thing. Be more honest. Get the books, and I don't want to hear that you can't open your mail. If you can talk about the grading process being slow because you have too many graders, or you don't have enough graders because grading is an art and a skill, and oh my goodness, is someone has to train, you know, under a bridge and walk up, you know, freaking mountain like Batman Begins to become a CGC grader. Okay, you can sell that to plenty of people. That's fine. But you can't tell me a freaking trained monkey could open up a package and mark it as received in the system. You could hire 10 interns from your local college and they're going to all get that done in no time. So that excuse falls flat for me. You can get the package, you can mark it received, you can hire a bunch of unskilled people to do that very easily, teach them how to open a box without damaging the contents. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. You know, anyone that's ever worked in a factory or a grocery store ought to be able to open these boxes and then mark the items as received. If nothing else, to just say, click, yes, we got a package from you, contents unverified, but we did receive a package. And then that would stop all the people from calling CGC to complain about, hey, where are my books? Are they lost? Because the post office says you got them, you say you didn't. It's been 3 weeks. What the heck's going on? So it's a customer service issue that's easily fixed, that's cheap to fix with unskilled labor, and you really have no excuse not to do it. No excuse. And the only excuse that you have are cheap. You know, you don't want to spend the money, and you want to pretend that your turnaround time isn't as bad as it is. So that's my thing. Still happy with the product. No scratches this time. No Newton rings. So really, I think this is the first time that I've submitted to CGC and got all my stuff back without an actual quality control problem. Yes, this is the first time. This is the first time that I've ever got a full batch of books back that didn't have scratch cases, debris that was easy to see anyway, inside the case. I mean, I haven't looked them all over with a magnifying glass, but you know, no debris in the case, no scratch cases, no miscentered books or crazy stuff like that. No books slabbed with a dog ear on the cover. You know, sometimes silly stuff happens. And they all came back, and they were all properly graded as far as I can tell. So, you know, this is the first time that's happened. But, come on. Make your turnaround time what it is so that we know as consumers what we're buying. You know, what we're in for. That's it. Not a big rant, but just my thoughts on what they have done and what they should do to improve, you know, reliability in the product. Simple stuff. Hire some trained monkeys. All right. So that's it. That's all we got today. BUB'S Comics. Remember to read a comic. We'll unbox, send some books in, get them graded. If you're like me, these are just like giant trading cards, which is how I started in the hobby. So I'm loving it. So read a comic and don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye.